Magandang araw! Sama-sama tayong matuto sa Teacher Sal Learning Resource Channel. Revise K-12 Curriculum English 3 Quarter 1, Week 4. For Day 1, our topic is all about building vocabulary and making logical predictions through text. Good morning, class! We will be learning new things this week, new words and new ideas about English. But before we move to this week's topics, let us first recall what we talked about last week. Do you remember the name of the main character in the story that we discussed last week? What kind of animal is he? Can you give some of the reasons why he got interested in painting? What do you call events that cause other events? What do you call the outcomes of certain events? Today, we will read a text about Lucy and how she studied for her math class. You have to listen carefully because I will be asking you to share your ideas about the selection later. Before we start reading the selection, let us first study some words. You will have to listen to the clues given and then rearrange the letters to form the word being described. This is a short test given after discussing a lesson. What is it? You're right, it is a quiz. This is an expression that you do when you are happy. It is a smile. This is the space between two lines that meet at a point. Angle. This is an answer that you give to a particular question when you do not have all the facts and you are not sure whether you are correct or not. Guess. This is another word for guess. Predict. I'll read aloud twice, then repeat after me. Predict, smile, angle, guess, quiz. Again, predict, smile, angle, guess, quiz. Good job unlocking all those words. The knowledge you gained will be useful in understanding our story for today. Are you now ready to listen? Listen carefully as we read the poem. Try to put a circle to the describing words that you will see. Maria and Her Math Class by Fernand Kevin A. Dumalay. Maria had an idea, fun and bright. She wanted to guess and get it right. Her math quiz was coming near, so she practiced without fear. Study hard, her teacher said. Practice your lines before you head to bed. Do your best, said Mom with a smile. Learning takes work, but it's worth the while. She drew two lines, long and neat, and predicted, will they ever meet? If they're parallel, they'll never touch. Side by side, but not too much. If they're perpendicular, they make a T. A right angle, crossing. Just wait and see. She drew more lines and made a guess, then checked to see if she had success. If they intersect, they cross just so, making angles some high, some low. Maria smiled. Her guesses were true. She loved learning. How about you? The next day, she took her test. She tried her hardest and did her best. When she got her paper back, oh my, she smiled with shining eyes. What a great try. What was Maria preparing for? What advice did Maria's teacher give her? What did Maria's mother tell her to do? What did Maria do to practice for her quiz? What happens to parallel lines? How do perpendicular lines look? What does it mean when lines intersect? Why is it important to practice before a quiz? Let us now focus on the ending of the story. The author did not reveal to us the results of the quiz. What do you think happened in the end? Here are possible answers. Maria studied hard. Maria did her best. Maria smiled in the end. Very good. What we did is an example of predicting an outcome or an ending. This is done by noting important information in the text called clues and by trying to connect them to predict something. For example, if you see that there are dark clouds outside, you can predict that it will rain soon. Do you understand very well? Complete these statements. Today, I learned about blank. I also learned that in making predictions, blank. Retell the story by completing the 5-finger retell worksheet. Who for characters, what for problem, where setting, when sequence of events, and why for resolution. Observe proper capitalization and punctuation marks. For day 2, predicting and retelling with keywords. Good morning, everyone. I am happy to see you today. I hope you are all well. Let us recall what we discussed yesterday. What is the name of the student in our story yesterday? What was she doing? What can we learn from her experience? We talked about Maria, who prepared for her math class, and how others cheer her on to succeed in learning the subject. Today, we will read again the text we had yesterday. You have to listen carefully because I will be asking you to share your ideas about the selection. We will also find out how to give commands. For the first reading, do not speak, just listen. For the second reading, I will pronounce each word and you will repeat after me. For the third reading, you will read the words independently. Keep. Try. Do. Bring. Shall. Much. Made. These are some of the words that we use in constructing sentences. Here are sentences on the board. Read them aloud. Study hard. Practice your lines before you head to bed. Do your best. These were the lines said by Maria's teacher and her mother to encourage her for her math quiz. These are examples of commands. A command usually starts with a verb, an action word followed by additional information. Identify the verbs and tell them that we use the base form of the verb whenever we express commands. Very good! These are the verbs. Study, practice, and do are all action words. But where is the subject? The subject part of a command is always you, but it is not anymore written or said. It is implied. It is an invisible subject. Example, study well. In this sentence, the verb is study. The remaining word is just an additional information about the verb. It tells us how the action should be done. Next, get the pen. In this sentence, the verb is get. However, the pen is no longer an additional information. It is an object that receives the action, get. To put it simply, if it answers the question what, it is an object. Let us try. What should you get? The pen. So the pen is an object of the sentence. Here are another examples. Sit quietly. Close the door. Pass the pencil. What is the verb? Does it have extra information about the verb or does it have an object? Possible answers. The verb is study. Quietly is an additional information about how the action should be done. The verb is close. The door is an object because it receives the action and it answers the question, what should you close? The verb is pass. The pencil is an object because it receives the action and answers the question, what should you pass? Very good. Commands are told to instruct someone to do something or to give an order. It is also called an imperative sentence. This time, you will be rearranging the words for commands. I want you to remember the things we discussed about forming imperative sentences. Are you ready? Write your answer on a clean sheet of paper. Make sure to observe proper capitalization and punctuation marks. For the first set of words, over, jump, rope, the. Second set of words, your, name, right. Third set of words, calm, keep. Fourth set of words, notebook, bring, your. For the fifth set of words, Maria, call. Here are the answers. Jump over the rope. Write your name. Keep calm. Bring your notebook. Call Maria. Reflect and complete these statements. Today, I learned about blank. Write 5 commands that you usually hear from your teachers and 5 commands that you usually hear from your parents or guardians. Observe proper capitalization and punctuation. For day 3, exploring text and words in science. Good morning, dear learners. It is great to see you all today. Yesterday, we talked about making conclusions. We realized that it is important to look for supporting details before we present any idea. Look at the pictures. What material are these objects made of? Very good. These objects are made of clay. Do you like playing with clay? Did you know that you can make a lot of things from it? Today, we are going to read a poem about powerful beings and how they created the world. As we read, we will also try to guess outcomes based on the given events. Before we begin reading the selection, let us first learn new words that can help us understand the poem. Rearrange the letters to form the word I am describing. Listen carefully to the clues. Are you ready? Lonely, big, strong, bright, and dark are the options. This means powerful. You're right, it is strong. This means sad. Lonely. This means huge. Big. This means with little or no light. Dark. This means shining. Bright. These words are examples of describing words. We use them to provide more information about places, people, or things. These words can be used to describe their colors, sizes, and other qualities. You will encounter these words in the selection that we are going to read. Listen carefully as we read the poem. Try to put a circle to the describing words that you will see. The birth of the world. by Fernand Kevin A. Dumalay. At first, no world was there, but Hala wanted to make it fair. It was lonely and dark, so he created things with all his might. Two strong hands shaped the land and the seas, forming mountains, rivers, home to plants and animals we can now see. Bright stars lit up the night, sun and moon shone big and bright. The world will no longer be lonely and dark. Strong winds blew, the seas arose, waves would dance and softly flow. Big trees grew, forming parallel lines, home for birds that soared the sky. Some eggs hatched, life came anew. Creatures big and small then swam and flew. Several islands rose from the sea, a home for all in harmony. A strong man and a beautiful woman stood in a line, born from bamboo, good and kind. From them people were born, the world was filled, no longer forlorn. Tribes wrote songs so grand, but Hala smiled, his emotion felt across the land. Who is Bathala? What was the world like in the beginning according to the poem? How did Bathala create the land and seas? What natural elements were formed to light up the world? What do you mean by parallel? Use it in a sentence. Where did the first man and woman come from, according to the poem? What do you think Bathala felt after creating all those things? Did you like the story? At this point, let us see if you really understood the story that we read. I will now pair you up with your classmates. You will answer the following questions. Be ready to share your ideas. What do you think will happen after Bathala made the land and seas? You're right, animals and plants start to grow and live there. What do you think will happen after Bathala made the sun, the moon, and the stars? The world is no longer dark, there will be day and night. What do you think will happen after the eggs hatch? New animals are born, they can now live and grow. What you did is predicting outcomes. This means that you try to look for information that serves as clues, and based on the clues, you think of what will happen next. Complete these statements. Today, I learned about blank. I also learned that we can describe things based on their blank characteristics. Create a simple story map with sections. Use the describing words used in the selection. Beginning, what was the world like before? Middle, what did Bathala create? And what happened to the people, to Bathala? Future, what could happen next to the world created by Bathala? If people continue telling the story of the world's creation, what do you think will happen? Fill in the first three sections based on the poem. Predict what will happen next and complete the future section. Share your predictions with the class. For Day 4, Understanding Words and Informational Text. Good morning, dear learners. I am happy to see you today. I hope you are all well. Let us recall what we discussed yesterday. Who was the Filipino god mentioned in our poem yesterday? What were the things he created? We talked about the origin story of the world. The poem narrated how all things came to being. We also discussed how we can use clues or information from the text to predict outcomes. Today, we will read again the text we had yesterday. You have to listen carefully because I will be asking you to share your ideas about the selection. But first, let us recall the 7 basic words assigned for this week. Can you give me one? Keep. I will keep my room clean. Try. I will try to finish my homework. Do. What do you want to play? Bring. Please bring your book to school. Shall. Shall we go to the park? Much. I love my family very much. Made. My father made a beautiful card for my mother. Again, these are some of the words in English that we often hear or read. That is why it is important to be familiar with them. This time, we will now recall some of the words used in the selection. Pay attention to the highlighted words. We will try to use those words in our own sentences. It was lonely and dark. Several islands rose from the sea. Two strong hands shaped the land and the seas, forming mountains and rivers. A strong man and a beautiful woman stood in a line. Home to plants and animals, we can now see. At this point, we are now going to use them in sentences. To show that we really know their meaning, write one sentence for each word. Well done! You have written very good sentences. This clearly shows that you understand how describing words work. At this point, you are going to retell the events in the poem The Birth of the World in at least 5 sentences. You have to use the 5 words we just studied. Write your paragraph on a clean sheet of paper. Always observe proper capitalization and punctuation in all your sentences. Why do you think Bathala created human beings last? What do you think is the role of the human beings in this world? Complete these statements. Today, I learned about blank.